Welcome aboard, Skylark Outdoors here, and today we're taking a look at the Extreme Boats 696 Game King, which we've got right here. Now, these are very unique boats that you don't typically see, and they are made in New Zealand. So we're going to go through some of those features and the review of the 696 Game King. But first, I'm going to walk you around and talk about why I think this could be a potentially good fit if you are someone that likes to fish. You live in a climate where you get some adverse weather conditions and colder temperatures in the fall, spring, or winter months. And if you live somewhere where you are going to be trolling. So this is the Game King 696. We've got another video on the Extreme Boats 795 Game King. So take a look at that down in the description below, and please subscribe if you haven't already. This boat clocks in at 2,220 kilograms, also known as 4,894 pounds. Since it is a New Zealand-based boat, they give you everything in metric, but we're going to convert that into imperial units. You've got a 6-person capacity on this boat, 250 horsepower rating, and then you've got a 20-degree dead rise on this boat, and it's 9.7 feet on the trailer. That is the width, and you have a 5 mil hull thickness on the aluminum. So this is an actually aluminum boat versus fiberglass, which you typically would see in the United States. Now, New Zealand, Australia, this is a more typical vessel that you may see out there, because what a lot of people do is do offshore fishing and go to some of the more remote islands. And so you've got kind of a cuddy cabin setup. And then New Zealand also has a wide variety of temperature zones throughout the country as well as through the seasons. And we're on the Great Lakes here, and those also get a wide variety of temperatures where they can be frozen or it can be 95 degrees and sunny out. So this kind of mimics some of the use case and environment that you may see in New Zealand or some parts of Australia, but New Zealand definitely has a lot of different climates, as well as you can have some pretty extreme offshore fishing. So you can see you've got your cuddy cabin there, you've got a little window up in the front, and what I do like about this is you've got your windlass up there, you've got electronics back here, your controls, is that you've got nice ventilation here on the side. You can open up those windows to get in whatever ventilation you need, but it's also very easy to walk around this if you need to get up there near the anchor chain or the windlass, or need to do anything for docking. You absolutely can do that. They've got a little bit of a spot on the side where you've got some railing you can hold on to and walk up into that front area there. And then you've got 2 seats here, and then 2 seats behind those captain's chairs and passenger chairs. And then you've got what I would call 2 more seats here in the back, or you could just sit on this or put a cooler down along the rear gunnel and stern here. And then this one is outfitted with a Mercury engine. You got a nice back platform here, so if you are fishing, you've got plenty of space to do that. Now, that is what this boat is meant to do, fish. And if you're on the Great Lakes, I see this as being a great walleye trolling platform, a salmon trolling platform. And that's because in those early seasons and late seasons on the Great Lakes, you definitely can get a lot of inclement weather. And being able to be slightly enclosed on this, you can do that. You could put isinglass up in the rear. And there's all kinds of features and customization that you can get on these Game King boats. And some of those customizations include having heat or air conditioning. Now, this particular boat is not equipped with that, but you can get it equipped with that with one of the options. But it is nice. You do have a cooler on there, refrigerator. You can see underneath the captain's chair, you've got all of your electronics, fish finder. You could outfit that with whatever you want. Plenty of trolling space on this boat as well, and rod holders on here. And then you can also outfit whatever you want on the gunnels for this. And you can see we're just going in between the 2 boats here. This is another Game King boat, just to give you an idea of what these look like. And this one actually has that extendable top on the back, so if you wanted shade, you could have that. You could have that same option on this Game King 696 from Extreme Boats. You've got a live well in here. Overall, these feel really stable. One of the nice things about them is they are so light, so if you're towing them over the road, very easy to tow. When you're looking at 4,894 pounds, and then let's say you add a trailer in, 1,200 pounds, you're well under 10,000 pounds. So pretty much most trucks are going to be able to tow this, and then a fair amount of SUVs are going to be able to tow this as well. If you're right around that 6,500 100-pound limit for some SUVs, you'd have no problems towing this Extreme Boats 696 Game King. Now, while there aren't a lot of accoutrements on the 696 Game King, I do like the layout and the functionality of this and the lightweight of this boat because it's going to be easy to travel with, easy to tow boat for fishing. So what I would envision for the Game King 696, if I had it, is you're going to travel with this boat, you're going to go fishing, or maybe you're going to use it on your home lake. But what I like about it is, let's say you're on the Great Lakes, you've got a destination you're going to go to, drop this thing in the night before, sleep in the cuddy cabin, and then you're ready for the early morning bite. You fish all day, and maybe you want to go somewhere else. You want to go to another port. You want to go to a different island. You want to try the fishing, a spot that you've got located. You go ahead, you dock for the night, or you anchor out if you can find a nice anchorage. You sleep again, you go fishing, and then you go catch fish all day. Maybe one more rest before you head home and go back to work on Monday morning. Unfortunately, nobody wants to do that. So maybe you could find a way that you could just keep fishing throughout the week and not go back to work. However, as a weekend boat or a travel boat, I find this to be a great combination for fishing or just enjoying the water, as well as if you're in a climate like the Great Lakes or New Zealand. I could see this also being really nice out on the Pacific Northwest, parts of the northern East Coast where you're going to have some colder weather in November through March. Something like this would be really nice because you can kind of get all enclosed, stay out of the weather if you want, but you have enough open space for when it starts to get summertime to really enjoy this thing. And absolutely an offshore vessel. However, at 22.9 feet, it is a little bit small for going way out there. You got to pick your days with this, and with the aluminum, there are benefits and costs to that. One is it is a lighter weight boat, so it's going to be more economical to operate in terms of fuel consumption. You're going to plane a little bit better with less horsepower. However, what that means is in the chop, potentially, and not always, you can get sloshed around. However, if you look at the weather in New Zealand and what these people deal with on a daily basis, and or Australia, some of the places people go boating, and you see boats similar to this all around both New Zealand and Australia, you're going to find that they deal with inclement weather all the time, and the hull shape is just as important as the weight on this boat, and it seems to handle pretty well. As well as in the Great Lakes, that is one of the choppiest places I have ever boated, just because you've got short period wavelength, and the boats seem to do well in that as well. And what's interesting is that it is a little bit wider in width at 9.7 feet versus typical American boats are at 8.5 feet, just because of typical trailer regulations. So you do have a beamier boat than you would typically find in the United States, because in the United States everybody is going with the typical trailer regulations, which is an 8'6" width on a boat. 9'6" can give you some problems or just require you to have a permit in some areas, but I think in most places you're not going to have too many issues with that at all. So overall, the Game King 696 is definitely an interesting boat. I like the customization on this boat. The boats themselves, the craftsmanship, if you ever get on one, are just incredible and beautiful. The aluminum hull is really cool. You can see all the welds and how they seam these things together. And with the hull being aluminum versus steel, you don't have the same level of corrosion concerns. However, you should note electrolytic actions that you can still have from stray electrical current in the marina or from the boat itself if you've got it connected to shore power and you're leaving it in a marina or the water long term. Just want to be aware of that, because any kind of metal hull can have that electrolytic action if you've got stray electrical current. So something to be aware of. Overall, very neat boat. I like that it's lightweight, easy to trailer, and that you've got a semi-enclosed helm up there. So thanks for watching our review of the Extreme Boats 696 Game King boat. We'll see you next time. Please subscribe, give us that thumbs up, and as always, thank you for taking a ride with us out on the water.